木です。
With 2023 finally here, we also have the arrival of the new fest cards of Mizuki and Ena, and that means it's time for yet another Mizu analysis video! It's almost been half a year since I started this YouTube channel, and I would like to thank everyone who watches my videos. This is my submission for Drama Club's December prompt. Please do check us out on Instagram. I've been anticipating Mizu and Fest for a long time, as I know this would be the second coming of the Hermit set. The Hermit set is beloved by many, including myself. And in similar fashion to that analysis, I'll also provide my thoughts on both of their fest cards. However, before we start, we need a brief understanding of what a fragment sekai is to understand the fest cards. They're fragments of emotions that form in the sekai of their respective members, and in the case of Mizuki and Ena, both of them form in the empty sekai. They are presented as a ball of light at first, and they enclose the members who touch into their world of feelings. Each fragment sekai is different as they are dependent on the feelings of the one that touches it. I find the concept of fragment sekais to be a wonderful addition to the sekai universe, as they let us have a deeper look into that character. Granted that characters' view on what they see in their own sekai is dependent on the time of when the cards release, and in my opinion this is most reflected in both Ena's and Mizuki's sekais. If the fragment sekais had appeared earlier in their development, things would have ended up drastically different. But to understand what I mean by that, we need to actually start the video and start talking about Ena's card.
なんで私の絵がこんなところに
The name of Ena's card is Regret Repenter, and the first thing that I thought of when I saw the French part of the name meaning repentance was the Renaissance. Before I talk about that, I'll explain why the word repentance is there. Ena started off drawing to prove to her artist father that she did have what it takes. She did it out of anger. However, in the card story, she quote-unquote repents and rearranges her thought process. Back to the Renaissance, it was the revival of art and literature under the influences of classical models in the 14th to 16th centuries. It was the rebirth of the classics after the period in the Middle Ages known as the Dark Age, which was the time when few discoveries in art and science were made. I find this connection to be so fitting, as Ena herself had her own dark age, one where she was in turmoil all alone. But through her character development in the events, we get to see Ena enter her own renaissance, as her love for painting makes a return, as she paints for herself, doing what she likes instead of focusing what others think, and especially her artist father. The Sekai fragment was born out of Ena's desire to repaint her old pieces, seeing as Futaba says that it helps you see how much you have grown. The fragment Sekai is filled with paintings that were discarded out of exasperation. So many unfinished paintings, sketches that will never see the light of day, landscapes with failed techniques. But who drew them all exactly? Ena then turns to glance at the corner of the canvas where the signature is located and discovers that
なんで私の絵がこんなところに
they were made by her all along. All the pieces in the abandoned atelier were made while Ena was crying. She wanders around with these pieces blocking her path throughout the atelier, but instead of being frustrated at seeing her failures, she accepts them and puts them in their place, allowing for her to move forward. This story made me cry, and I'm sure some of you out there cried a bit too. I've written blogs that were meant just to impress, but fall shallow of any meaning before leaving me purely unsatisfied. Plenty too. They lay dormant in my archive, but I still think about them to this day. I've seen plenty other analysis threads and cried at how bright they were, as an exaggeration and far from life as that seems. But the fact that I have room to improve means that I can't give up yet. Analyzing things and looking at symbolism and stuff in media that I like has always been a passion of mine. I find it to be integral to my identity, and without this little part of my brain going, Fructose, did you know that Ena's water motif is super strong in this fest story because of that painting in the ocean? I wouldn't be the same person at all. Speaking of that painting, yep, that's right. Ena's water symbolism is back, while subtle here is as strong as ever. Someone drowning in the sea, grasping onto the light that tries to penetrate through the murky waters. Someone who won't give up or stand still. It went from an empty image with nothing much to express on its own to a helpless situation to an inspiring one. I think that Ena's thought process on how to paint this torn-up painting perfectly summarizes her character up until this point. Water washes away and purifies, just like how Ena's opinions on her past arts are cleansed from the negative connotations that they once held. The water motif, of course, started with Infinitely Grey, and if you don't know, I have plenty to talk about that song. There's this line at the end of the first part of her card story that is reminiscent of one of the lyrics in that song.
どこだとか、なんで私の絵があるのかなんて、もうどうでもいい。未完成の絵がこんなにある。だったら、どの絵も今度こそ描き切ってみせる。
And compare that to these lines from Infinitely Grey, you will see quite the similarity. This shows so much of Ena's character development from the beginning, where she was seeing things negatively through broken canvases, only seeing her failures. Now with a newfound passion for painting, she enters her own renaissance. If you aren't tired of the Infinitely Grey callbacks, guess what? There's more! The card's outfit name is Narcissus Salopette, and courtesy to commenter Marcoshu on my Infinitely Grey video, the Narcissus flower is also known as the daffodil, which is used in the card art of the Infinitely Grey cards. Its name is derived from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a man who loved the way that he looked so much that one day he leans in to kiss the reflection, only to fall in the water and drown. This myth may symbolize Ena's need for validation, but the Narcissus flower itself symbolizes creativity, inspiration, awareness, and inner reflection, forgiveness, and vitality. Perfect for a card like this. Going through some self-reflection, Ena gains a spark of inspiration and further energy to continue to paint. The Narcissus flower's name isn't just there for show, however, as a pattern of the flower can be seen on the trousers of Ena's salopette. The window illuminating the atelier is decorated with Narcissus flowers too, which I find it to be a neat detail. Just a small note, Ena's hairstyle represents her determination, and the fact that she won't let anyone stop her anymore. It may also symbolize her maturity after the quote-unquote repentance. Taking a better look at the cardigan, I love the details like the cardigan that she wears to school hanging by the stairs, the charger on the moving shelf alongside other art appliances, and the teddy bear by the window representing the inner shadow of hers that still loves art. Overall, this card means so much to me, and Ena as a character as well. However, if you look at the runtime of this video, we still have Mizuki's card to talk about, so let us move on.
どうしてこんなに寂しいんだろう
The name of Mizuki's card is Solitudes Utopia, with solitudes meaning usual and in utopia being a perfect world. These two together make an oxymoron because there's nothing usual about a utopia. The word solitude also sounds similar to solitus, fitting for Mizuki. The utopia part of the card should be quite obvious as this is the place of Mizuki's dreams, filled with cute things, yummy pastries, pastel colors, and free of judging eyes. The solitudes part of the card name can be interpreted in two ways. On one hand, a world where they feel all alone is ordinary for them, but at the same time, this utopia is something they want to be the usual. Despite the quote-unquote perfect world that this fragment sekai is for Mizuki, every utopia is a dystopia at the same time. With no one to actually enjoy this happiness with, Mizuki truly feels alone, despite this being what they've seemingly wanted all along. In the center of the mall lies a sakura tree alongside dresses, cute bags, and other decor. The sakura tree may symbolize the sakura tree that Mizuki saw with Nigo in the Secret Distance event, as it was the first instance of Mizuki looking at a sakura tree positively. There's something oddly cold about Mizuki's cards, and especially this one. They wear the commonly seen cold smile that can be seen on many cards, one that is hesitant to fully be happy. Despite all the pastel pinks that Mizuki dearly loves, you can feel the cold shades of blue and purple seep into the fragment sekai, and that coldness intensifies in their trained card. This isn't the first time we see this cold shade of pink in Mizuki's cards, as evident by these other cards on screen. This distance that they put between themselves and the rest of Nigo members is still quite prevalent, as they put their own plush away from the others in the trained card. But the plushes being there in the first place symbolize how much they care about Nigo. The plushies and pillows are literally the cute things that Mizuki uses to cushion the blow that other people's judgment has done to them.
何なら音、僕は僕です。
Mizuki's mirror motif is something I'd like to explore in this video, and this card is what evoked this image into my mind, but the image itself made my rose as we discussed this together in DMs. Mirrors are a reflection of oneself, and oftentimes are a reflection of one's thoughts, as there are 3 instances of Mizuki showing the expression of their face through mirrors. These instances are their initial 3-star, the Hermit card Untrained, and now this one. This may represent the happy facade that they put up while hiding their inner feelings of suffocating loneliness and the loathing of those that judge them, or them not wanting to show Nigo your secret yet. The reason why I started this video and put up the little Undertale reference was because despite everything that they've been through, all of the judgment that they faced, the facades they put up, and just the experiences they've been through, Mizuki is still Mizuki, and nothing will change that. Despite the thousands of lenses that other people see them, and all the illusion that Mizuki portrays themselves in, the person standing by that mirror is still at the very core, Akiyama Mizuki. But what has changed is what they truly want, and by experiencing this fragment Sekai, they were able to realize that. Despite how much the world changes, what Mizuki wants changes, there will always be a part of Mizuki out there that is infinitely them. Our identity is a collage of our experiences, like a dress sewn with multiple fabrics, fitting enough that the card's costume is called Cottage Lolita. This Cottage Lolita dress is quite similar to Mizuki's main outfit, with more intricate frills and the like, showing their character development. While writing the script, I suddenly thought of the ship of Theseus, which tackles the question of if you replace every part from something, is its essence still the same? According to big man Aristotle, it is still the same as its core design and function is still the same. Likewise, if all of Mizuki's bad memories and betrayals were replaced by all the good ones in Nigo, they would still be the same person, of course. My viewer, may I ask what are the things you would sacrifice to be alone in your paradise? All alone, no one to judge you, no one to start rumors about you, just you in this utopia. What would you do in exchange for your own solace utopia? Instead of accepting this, Mizuki willingly returns instead of the fragment Sekai fading, showing how despite the strong feelings that Mizuki has to remain in this perfect world, they value the time spent with Nigo more than anything now. This Mizuki card evokes a lot of emotions in me as well. I still had my interest a lot in fear of being mocked, and when I did show them, I was in the past. While now I'm more open to it, I don't reveal the full story, and I always have this bad feeling that people are talking behind my back. Why is it so troublesome to just enjoy the things I like? Why is it like this? I would often ask this. I used to hide a lot from my friends, but I need to trust them a bit too, even if it's a bit hard, cause there's nothing such as a perfect world where you're all alone. As Mizuki leaves their fragment Sekai out of their own volition, while Ena gets zapped out of hers, things eventually have to come to an end, and this video as well. These cards and the stories attached to them have impacted me a lot, and I love them loads. They have so much meaning put into them, and I'm absolutely in love with both of their fragment Sekais, as they show who the character is at their very core. Personally, I resonated with Ena's story the most, seeing that there are so many scripts I've yet to finish in the past, and that I want to revisit to see how much I've grown. Remake of A Year with Asahina Mafi, perhaps? Well, there are analysis threads of these cards there as well. I hope I brought a unique take to the table, but in the end, this is simply just a first Mizuki and Ena analysis. We have a Discord where you can come and discuss. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.